All right, everybody. Next fight up, co-main event time. Carla Esparza taking on Weili. I believe that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. And Liam, I have thoughts on this fight. I do. I have thoughts on this fight. But I think you have thoughts on this fight. And we got a little prelude to that talking earlier, if you guys followed the Pub Sports live bet cast this past week. So, Liam, if you don't mind, I'm going to let you lead, my friend. I'll let you take this one off and talk to me about this matchup. Let the people know how you feel.
Yeah, so again, this is one that I haven't quite bet yet because it actually seems like the market's been moving the other way a little bit. And listen, do I understand why? Of course I understand why. You know, it's like Carla Esparza has been one of the most profitable underdogs in the history of the UFC, period. Any weight class, any way you want to slice it, any way you want to do it. Constantly doubted, constantly disrespected. Nobody ever believes she's going to win a fight. But sometimes what you see is people are late to the party. You know, people start to see, you know, a trend, let's say, in betting. And so they think, oh, this is the time I should hop on the trend. Whereas the trend might be coming to an end. And everybody who's been riding it is like, wow, this was a great thing while it lasted. But, you know, maybe we should take our ball and go home. And in this case, I max bet Carla Esparza against Rose Namajunas. You know, I thought that it was an obvious play there just because of the difference in, you know, number one, Carla won the first fight. She won it in completely dominant fashion. In the subsequent bouts in between, we hadn't seen Carla Esparza get like summarily outstruck by somebody, and that's why she lost the fight. It was, she got completely outgrappled by somebody who was bigger, stronger, Tatiana Suarez. So I felt like, you know, there was reason to be hopeful that at plus 185, Carla Esparza at worst was going to make it a close decision, right? And that's in the end what we ended up getting. It was one of the worst fights in UFC history. Not very much of substance happened in the entire contest, even on rewatch. You know, a couple, you know, loose takedown exchanges. I'm not sure anybody got hit with a strike. So it was a weird fight. No other way to strike to slice it. But, you know, Carla gets the win there. She was the one advancing, coming forward. Rose Namajunas, her corner was bafflingly telling her she's doing well as she's just evading the fight the whole time. So, you know, this is a different situation. You know, do I expect Zhang Weili to be on her bicycle running away from Carla Esparza? God, no. I don't expect that at all. I think that it's going to be Zhang Weili chasing after her like she was let out of a cage, and she is now trying to, you know, chase down an animal. It's like Zhang Weili is an aggressive fighter, and she is a very strong woman, and she's got great top pressure, and she's showing off an improving submission game in her recent fights, an improving grappling game, improving cardio. She's shown the dedication to travel all around the world, continue to improve her game. And odds makers are saying she should win this fight really easily. And she's, you know, coming into this as the challenger, right? And we haven't seen it a lot, but when we do see people that are favored as the challengers, they win a decent portion of the time. They don't win every time. But what we see is that, you know, I think there's times to say, hey, the champion should not be disrespected here. This challenger hasn't proved enough. But Zhang Weili is a champion. She's won the belt before. You know, it's like she's got a pretty decent record in title fights. The problem was a matchup. Rose Namajunas is a tough matchup for her. She's got some physical dynamics that are way different than Carla, right? Her and Carla are about the same size. So who's going to be stronger? I think Zhang Weili. Who's going to be the better wrestler? Maybe Carla by an inch. You know, maybe Carla by 2 inches. But I don't think she's going to be this big of a gap in the wrestling. I think the wrestling is going to have closed. She's been training with Henry Cejudo. She's been training with Captain Eric Albarracin. She's been training with some of the best names in the game. And for a while now, the Hickman brothers, Bangtown Muay Thai as well. It's just a lot of things that are adding up to, if somebody's going to be on insane sauce in this fight, who would I think it's going to be? I'm just taking guesses. It's like maybe Zhang Weili would be the one of the two. It's just, so all these things point to Carla Esparza has been there, done that, got to the top of the mountain, seen the top of the mountain twice. What does she really have to do anymore in this sport? Nothing. She's proven everything. She's done it in 2 combat sports. Zhang Weili is hungry. She's about this life right now. She is hungry for that belt back. She wants it. I think she deserves it. I think she's going to get it. So I like Zhang Weili inside the distance.
There you have it, folks. I've got practically nothing to add to that. I feel the same, Liam, and I've been on this very podcast and said how disrespectful I feel it is to make a challenger to a title a favorite. I feel like anytime you can get a champion, a seated champion as a favorite, or I'm sorry, as an underdog, that's almost always the move. But like you mentioned, there are times And right now we're getting a challenger who is a former champion herself. And we got paper, rock, scissors going on right here with Carla Esparza and Rose Namajunas. There's good matchups. There's bad matchups. And I know this is me just eating up all of the propaganda machine. But did you see her picking up Francis Ngannou, Liam? Like, did you watch the clip of her doing that shit? Like, Zhang Weili is like this tall, and I'm sitting down, folks. Like, she is not a big woman. And Francis Ngannou is the out of competition heavyweight champion of the world, probably weighs 320 pounds right now, maybe over exaggerating a little bit. But she picked him the fuck up like he was nothing. Like, the water at Fight Ready is good. It is good stuff over at Fight Ready. There's a reason that's my favorite gym. And like
I think they eat their asparagus and go to bed early. That's always been my theory.
Lots of push-ups. Lots of push-ups. So, guys, I'm with Liam here. Carla Esparza, I know there are some very sharp people in our community who cashed a ticket against Rose Namajunas the last fight out, which I don't know if there's a more variance-ridden fight result than I've ever seen in my life. Congratulations to anybody who cashed that ticket. But that was a staring contest. Zhang Weili's not going to engage in that kind of a fight. Like, Carla's going to have a fight on her hands on Saturday. And I do think that her wrestling chops training at Fight Ready are getting better. She'll be capable of holding her own physically. I think she's the stronger, more powerful of the two. She is 2 inches larger than Carla Esparza, and frankly, Zhang Weili is almost larger than nobody in this weight class, so that's kind of a big deal. I see a lot of advantages for Zhang Weili. I agree with the line. I think she's the side. I'm with you, Liam. And new Zhang Weili. Let's go. Got to shout out real quick here, though, because the man himself rolls into town, Tajik Bey, with the $4.99 donos and just a few of them. Thank you so much, Tajik Bey, for sponsoring the podcast this evening here with all these donations, my friend. We do appreciate you here at Pub Sports Radio. If you guys didn't see, Tajik cashed a couple of dandies at this past weekend. He's got some jingle in his pocket. So we appreciate you for blessing us this evening on the podcast. Tajik Bey, my friend, the GOAT of MMA Twitter. All right, everybody, it's main event time. Liam, you got something
I have to give one last word of pause for that last fight, and it's just this. I have never won a bet on Zhang Weili. So I gave that whole impassioned rant, but I've never won a bet. I've gone to the well with her 3 times. I've come up short 3 times. So I do think that this is a winnable fight for her, but I wanted to give that full disclosure to the audience because I'm coming to you with a lot of passion and vigor, but I haven't quite gotten to the pay window with Zhang Weili quite yet.
I hear you. And that's fair. That's fair enough. It is what it is. But you know what? If it makes you feel any better, Liam, Carla Esparza didn't want this fight. She dragged out her championship as long as humanly possible, went on her honeymoon, took some pictures. Like, she's doing what she can to hang on to that title. I think this is that spot where the UFC saw their opportunity and pounced. I'm not going to read too much into the narrative, but this feels like a matchup that they wanted. And I think for a reason, I know it's never good in betting to like crown someone a little too early, but I think this would be the spot if we're going to do that. So Team Zhang Weili, let's go.